Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I had my baby, I'm out of the third trimester, I'm into the fourth trimester, but I want to share some thoughts that I have about third trimester, some things that I think are must-haves, and just kind of everything you need to know about third trimester. It's just crazy to think that I am no longer pregnant and I actually have a baby right now. She is with Connor, so he's taking care of her right now. And this is the first time that I'm making a video and like actually have my face together, my hair kind of together, not really, but I'm actually wearing a shirt because 99% of the time I'm not even wearing a shirt. So feels good to be back, and thanks for continuing to follow me if you are still following me and watching my videos. So anyways, let's get started with the third trimester. So third trimester, for some people it's like the absolute worst because you're just feeling so heavy, you're feeling like huge, and there's like I feel like every single trimester there's a first half of the trimester and a second half, because in the third trimester I feel like you're kind of coming out of the second trimester, you look your best, you have like this really cute out there bump and you can dress it well, you can look cute and stuff like that, but towards the end of the third trimester you feel absolutely huge, you feel like a balloon that is about to pop. And kind of in the first half also you have a lot more energy, or you're starting to have a lot more energy because you're kind of getting out of the second, you're getting into nesting mode and things like that, but again towards the end of the third trimester you're just like completely exhausted, you barely get any sleep because you're tossing and turning, and you're having to get up to pee all the time, like just a variety of things. So the third trimester, and really every trimester, is like a first half and a second half. So the first thing that I want to talk about with the third trimester are stretch marks. So stretch marks are kind of like almost inevitable because you're stretching, you're growing a human child, but we want to prevent them. We want to prevent stretch marks because we don't want them on our body, even though they are a symbol of the fact that your body did an amazing thing. They just like aren't something that we think are cute and, you know, look good. So we want to prevent them. For me, I put lotion on almost every single day. I put on the Burt's Bees stretch mark cream, or whatever it's called. I'll have like a picture of all these products, and I'll also have all of these products linked in the description. So I use that one. Another company that I just heard about with stretch marks and also postpartum, which I'm using, is a company called Ever Eden, and they have some firming and lifting cream, which I'll be using for postpartum, and I'll talk about that in my fourth trimester video. But for the Burt's Bees one, I use that every single day, and I used it on my stomach, and I don't have any stretch marks on the front of my stomach, which is amazing because I grew pretty big and I genetically like would have gotten stretch marks, because usually it's genetic that you're gonna get them. So I didn't get any on my stomach. Where I forgot to put stretch mark cream are my hips, because I was like, my hips are already pretty wide, I don't need cream on my hips. And my boobs, I did not put, I occasionally did on my sides and my boobs, but not as much as I did my stomach, because I thought for sure I was gonna get them on my stomach. So I don't have any on my stomach though, but I did get them on my side and on my boobs. And I wish I would have lathered those places up more, but I didn't. So I'll show you what the stretch marks look like. Still have my like line, but as you can see, like none on my stomach. I don't know if you can see that. On my side and my other side, if you can see that. And so yeah, like Burt's Bees really did work really well for me, and I lathered up as much as I could all the time. So if you are wanting to not get stretch marks, I would really suggest the Burt's Bees, and just doing it all the time. You could possibly still get them, but it's not always for sure, but it definitely helps your skin stay hydrated. Drinking water also helps staying hydrated and keeping your skin very like bouncy and elastic. So yeah. Another thing that happens in the third trimester, which happened to me, doesn't happen to everyone, and this actually started happening in the second trimester, but your boobs start leaking colostrum, and I produce a lot of milk now postpartum, so it makes sense that I was already leaking colostrum in the second and third trimester, but you do start, like, your body's preparing for the baby, and so you're making colostrum, which comes before the breast milk. So if you want to get breast pads or anything like that, for me it was just always embarrassing because I would wake up in the middle of the night and like I would have stains on my shirt, which looking back now I thought that that was embarrassing, but now when my boobs are leaking so much from all of the milk, I'm like, I just want that little amount of colostrum. Those were the simpler days. But yes, so your boobs will start leaking. If that is a problem for you, count your blessings, because that most likely means that you're gonna have your milk come in quickly and you're gonna have a really good experience with breastfeeding. So yeah, but that does happen to some people. It happened to me. As far as my weight, I gained, I think, a total of like 30 pounds. I wasn't someone who like stepped on the scale all the time. I only stepped on the scale when I went to the doctor. Even now, postpartum, I don't even care about my weight, and I'll talk more about that in my postpartum journey and like my body and stuff. But I'm not someone who like gets on the scale, checks my weight, but I'm pretty sure I gained around 30-ish pounds. And of course, you're just gonna gain a lot. Like, you have a baby, there's water in there, placenta, all the things that are in your body, you're gonna gain a lot of weight. So don't be like consumed with how much you weigh. If your doctor is saying like you're looking good, then that's all that matters. So but you do gain a lot, so that's kind of inevitable. As far as people touching my belly, I was kind of like, I really don't care. Like, if you want to touch my belly, that's fine, like whatever. There was this one lady who I didn't even know at church who like just touched my belly and started asking me all these questions, and that was kind of weird. But I'm not someone to be like, hey, don't touch me, don't touch my belly, or like be rude, or I'm like just someone who just like complies to things. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, touch my belly, fine, that's okay. But I think I'm starting to learn with having a baby about like setting boundaries, and that's something that I'm needing to learn because I don't want people touching her right now. And so that's something that I'm learning. But during the third trimester, when people touch my belly, I was like, okay, that's fine. And then later on I'd be like, what the heck? But yeah, so people did touch my belly all the time, and there were some people who would ask, and if they asked, like, I was totally okay with it. But it's a magical thing. Like, people want to touch your belly because they could possibly feel the baby kick or the baby move, and they should definitely ask. First of all, it is definitely weird for people to touch your belly, but I understand the desire to, because you're growing a human child and things like that. But so part of me was like, I don't even care. The other part was like, why do you want to touch me? It's so weird. So some other symptoms that I had that I kind of wrote down were, I would pee if I sneezed. If my bladder was full and I sneezed, I would for sure wet my pants. And I wouldn't like full on pee, but I would wet my pants. And it was funny because like if I sneezed, Connor would be like, did you just pee? And I would be like, yes. And then I was like sweating all the time. I was super hot. It was like 40 degrees outside, and I was wearing just like this without a jacket, like not even a big deal. And I would get inside and people would be cold, and I'd be like, I am so sweaty. And I would get like flushed on my face all the time. It was kind of the worst. I really didn't like that because I just hated being hot. My neck was swollen. My neck's kind of swollen still. I just like have like some fat on it still. But my feet never got swollen. My arms were swollen. My neck was swollen. My legs didn't really get swollen, so I'm glad that my feet didn't ever get swollen. But I didn't like that my neck was swollen all the time. I was always hungry, but I couldn't eat a lot because she was like just taking up so much room that I would be starving. But I would eat like a few bites and then feel just absolutely full, like I couldn't finish my meal. So that kind of sucked because I wanted to eat, but it helped keep the weight off, so that was good, I guess. So those are a few of the symptoms. And then last thing that I got a question about, which I don't know if you can hear my dog barking. And then the last thing that I was getting a lot of questions about, which I did not want to talk about, but I'm going to anyways, is sex. So sex during your third trimester. So personally, I don't like talking about this. Personally, it like stopped middle of the 3rd trimester, like within the last few weeks leading up to my labor and delivery, and not because of choice. Like a lot of people, it could be because of choice, because you feel huge, you feel not attractive, and like, you know, whatever. For me, it wasn't like that. Like I did feel huge, I was huge, but Connor did a really awesome job just making me feel beautiful and whatever. But for me, it was like I could not breathe and I could barely move. So like if I was laying down, it took all of me to get up out of bed or to roll onto my side or just like move my body in general. So the idea of being intimate with him was so hard, because I was like, I feel like I will just lay there and be like a limp noodle. Or if I was on top, then I like couldn't do anything. I would just like, I like couldn't move because I have all of this weight on my stomach. So it was just really hard, because for me, when I think about intimacy, I think about like both being like active and like loving each other, and not it just like solely being one person doing all the action or like the other person. Why am I talking about this? I have no idea. So like with that said, for me, I was like we would try during those last few weeks, and then I would just like lay there, or I like couldn't move. And so in my head, I'd be like how is this supposed to happen? Because I can't move. For me, it was just very awkward. And so it would just turn into like different types of intimacy that we would have to do. But for the most part, like it couldn't be like straight sexual sex. Because I just couldn't. Even though I wanted to, I just couldn't. And so yeah, that was a weird topic. Yikes. But yeah, so we did up until those last few weeks, and then it just couldn't happen anymore. Again, not because I didn't want to, but because I just don't want to be a limp noodle, which happened every time. So, all right, now let's move on. Thank the Lord, we are done with that conversation. We are moving on to the must-haves. So if you haven't watched my previous 2 videos on the 1st trimester and 2nd trimester, I have specific must-haves for those trimesters, and some that I included in those that I included in this is 1, the pregnancy pillow, and that I suggested you have in the 1st trimester, just to get your body used to sleeping like that if you're a stomach sleeper like me. If you're a side sleeper, you probably can wait to get it until 2nd trimester, but you definitely need it in the 3rd trimester. So pregnancy pillow, and then water bottle. Of course, you need a water bottle. I don't know where my water bottle is, but I have a really cute marble one from Target. Water bottle, definitely need that. Another one that I mentioned in my 2nd trimester is liquid IV. Liquid IV is this powder that is not artificially colored, which I really like. It basically helps with your water intake to consume less water but stay hydrated. Not that you shouldn't drink water, but because it's really hard to drink a gallon of water being pregnant. So having liquid IV, definitely an amazing product that I used all throughout pregnancy and even now postpartum. So I actually have a coupon code. They may have a better deal right now, and if they do, don't even use my coupon code. But if they don't, my code is Brittany Alexandra. You can get 20% off and free shipping. So I'll have that up here. And then another thing that I talked about in the 2nd trimester is having kinesiology tape. For me, I used this almost every day the last like 4 weeks of the 3rd trimester, and you put it specific ways on your back and your stomach to helps with the pressure that the baby is like weighing you down, helps kind of lift the stomach up, helps with the back so you don't have so much back pressure and so much back pain. Kinesiology tape, really amazing. I'll link my favorites. The one that I used that was my favorite but also not my favorite was the KT tape, I believe, and it stuck really well. So the other ones, it would last for a few days but then start rolling. The last one that I used stuck really well. The only downside was when you wanted to take it off, you had to be very careful because it stuck really well. It would almost rip your skin off. So you had to like be careful and like maneuver your skin away from the tape instead of pulling the tape off. So that was just kind of one of the downsides, but just testing out different kinesiology tapes is helpful. So either kinesiology tape to help you, or if you're in a lot of pain, getting a belly band to help pull your belly up a little bit more and give you a little bit more of support. So those were some. And then also mentioned stretch mark cream, which you should use really from like the moment you find out you're pregnant, because you want to keep your skin hydrated. You should lotion anyways in general, so just add it to your routine every time you get out of the shower, or if you're getting ready in the morning when you take your clothes off, like lotion up your skin and keep it hydrated. So that's another one. And then also, of course, having yoga pants that are maternity. That's a must to keep yourself comfortable. So those are a lot of the ones that I mentioned, first trimester, second trimester, that still apply in the third trimester. As far as add-ons that you should have in the third trimester, I would say another one is comfy shoes. For me, I always wear my Keds. Like, I love my Keds. I will wear them spring, winter, fall, summer. Like, I will wear Keds all the time. I love my Keds. But I would have so much pressure on my belly or like weighing me down that I could actually feel my bones when I would walk in my Keds. Like, there wasn't a lot of support in the Keds, and I could feel the pressure of my feet on the ground. Like, I would feel my bones, and it actually hurt really bad. And so I had to get comfy shoes. I would wear my slippers all the time, these slippers all the time whenever I was walking, and I even started to wear them like on outings to people's houses and stuff like that, because I didn't want to wear Keds anymore and I wanted my feet to not hurt so bad. So comfy supportive shoes are definitely a must, and get them on Amazon. I'll link a few, because you definitely want them to like not be super expensive, just something cheap to kind of get you through. But you're gonna want them because there's gonna be a lot of pressure on your feet if you are walking a lot. If you're in bed rest or you're not walking a lot, no big deal, but you should be walking a lot in the third trimester to, one, help the laboring process, but two, to stay active, not be put on bed rest, just stuff like that. But also, with that said, finding a good balance between being on your feet and resting are super important. But when you are up, having comfy shoes is important. So, would recommend that. Another thing I would recommend is having a heating pad. Your back's gonna start hurting, your body's gonna start hurting, and it's gonna be really beneficial if you have a heating pad. So, and most of us do, most of us just have one laying around anyways. I had one from a long time ago that I never used, that Connor found and took out so that I could start using it for my back pain. So I was really glad that I already had it, because during the end of the day or whenever I would sit on the couch for a long time, my back would just be in so much pain. My lower back, like sciatic lower nerve area, would just be in so much pain. So having that heating pad was super beneficial. So I would say that's another must have in the third trimester. And then the last thing that I think, again, super important to have, and I think I had this in the second trimester, I don't know if I mentioned it though in my video, is having a yoga ball. And the yoga ball was super helpful because you can bounce on it, you can start to get your baby to turn and be head down so that they can start preparing to descend. And so like bouncing on a yoga ball in the second trimester and the third trimester, really helpful. Doing like figure eights on the yoga ball or circles to kind of loosen up and open your hips for the baby to again descend. But also having it as a sitting ball, because whenever you are sitting for a long time, you're pressing on your sciatic nerves, your baby is weighing so much on your pelvis, and it starts to hurt really bad. So having a ball to sit on can release some of that pressure of a chair or a couch or whatever, and you can just kind of like bounce on it, and it can also straighten your back. So again, you have better posture, you don't have as much pain. So having a yoga ball, I think, again, is one of the most important things within your pregnancy. You can also do workouts on the yoga ball, which is important to stay healthy while you're pregnant. So doing exercises on the yoga ball, so you're keeping yourself fit and in shape, but you're not putting too much tension and pressure on your body, like as if you were going to the gym and using weights or whatever. So that's another one. So that's kind of all third trimester for me. I had a really good third trimester. I didn't have to be put on bed rest. I didn't have to go to the doctor. I didn't get like preeclampsia or like velcro veins or something like that. Didn't get that. Overall, I think my third trimester, I was like up and walking until the very last day, and staying active until the very last day. Active as in like walking and going places, not going to the gym. Did not go to the gym the like last few weeks. That did not happen. So I would say I had a really good third trimester, which I'm super grateful for. So nothing like super crazy to report to you, but I would say all of those things that I said about must-haves, they aren't just things that I'm telling you like, oh, you could possibly use or whatever. I used all of these things. I use them all the time. Used my yoga ball. Every single night when me and Connor would have dinner, I would sit on my yoga ball. I would use liquid IV almost every single day, and my water bottle, and would use KT tape. Like all these things are must-haves in my opinion. And some people give you like extra stuff. Don't worry about those extra things. You need all of these things, like for sure. Hope you guys are having an amazing third trimester. Hope you're having an amazing pregnancy. And at some point, pregnancy ends like mine. My journey has ended and now I'm a new mom. So you can do it. You can get through this third trimester if you're like suffering or having a terrible experience. I hope you're not, but if you are, it comes to an end at some point. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video, and again, hope you guys are having an amazing pregnancy, and I'll be praying for all of your labors. Just let me know in the comments if you are due soon, and I'll be praying for that experience. But I will see you guys in my next video now that I'm doing videos again. Okay, bye.